Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show and our usual Monday night roundup here on the channel, looking back at the weekend's action and also looking ahead tonight to, of course, Leeds United being in action at Old Trafford to take on Manchester United. I'm Chris Bell. Delighted to say, joined by Gareth Walker, Stephen Downs, and at least between now and kickoff, Jayson Booker. Are we all doing, gents? Are we well?
Very well, mate.
Good job. Good job.
Excellent. I mean, this sounds positive, or for a starting point. I mean, look, we'll just start very quickly. Gaz, I mean, how was your weekend with football and football aside?
Chris, just very quickly, Chris, you're very slightly quiet.
Okay, I will try and come up.
Yeah, he's just a bit muffled, isn't he?
Yeah, just a tad.
Somebody trying to smother him with a pillow.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, slightly.
I'll keep working on it. Yeah, Gaz, how was your weekend?
Weekend were all right. Football worked great. Kids are back at school now. So I am back to daddy duties. And yeah, not a lot else to say other than we'll talk about City in a bit because it was just an awful game.
Downsy, have you recovered from the absolute thriller at the end of the game on Saturday and the foul that never was?
No, because it was a foul.
It was not.
It was a foul, and we should have had 3 penalties. And I'm firmly now in Jay's camp that all referees should be banned from football for the rest of life, until we decide to get better. But yeah, other than that, the weekend was sound.
That would change the game, to be fair. Jay, we'll start with you, mate. Obviously, the Leeds in action shortly. Obviously, well, kind of wanted to touch on the Premier League as a whole, really, and the results over the course of the weekend. Obviously, Spurs, they lost at Sunderland by a 0-0. Forest picked up a point against Aston Villa. West Ham got a win on the Friday night football as well. So going into tonight, the bottom end of the table looks as follows. I mean, Jay, obviously away at Old Trafford, it's been a bloody long time since you've won there in a league game, but you seem more positive than a man supporting a side that hasn't won in the last 6 games and hasn't won at Old Trafford for 45 years.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm unnecessarily positive. Like, at the end of the day, I'm well aware of the situation. 45 years since we have beaten them at Old Trafford. They're riding the crest of a wave at the minute. Momentum's good for them. And under Carrick, since the change from Amram, I mean, we have never had a better chance of beating Manchester United in a league game than we did in the game at Ellen Road. And we went 1-0 up, and I thought this was the day. And as quick as we'd scored, we'd also conceded, and we ended up drawing that game 1-1. Amarin gets sacked thereafter, and their season's kind of changed considerably since then. That they're arguably the most formed team in the division since Carrick took over. They're certainly up there. They've only lost, I think it's 7 games all season. Arsenal and City have lost 5 and 6 respectively. So they're up there with one of the most difficult teams to beat in the division on paper. In terms of the statistics, so that's what they say. So I'm well aware of how difficult this is going to be, but it's a rivalry game. It's a derby. Plenty of things happen in these kind of games. We're also difficult to beat. We're not easy to beat. We've lost by more than 1 goal only twice this season, and they were both to Arsenal. Sorry, 3 times we lost to Brighton as well by 3. But we don't, we don't lose by many goals. It's usually just 1 goal. Over the last 9 away games, we've only lost twice. Now, unfortunately, 7 of them have been draws. Because if they weren't all draws, we'd already be safe. So we don't win very often away from home. We've won once away from home all season, but we also don't lose very often. In that run of 9 games, we've lost to Man City away and Newcastle away. And in that Newcastle game, we led in the 91st minute 3-2. You know what I mean? So we are difficult to play against. So I'm just hopeful that we can make something happen tonight. We're really going at it. I'll say that the team's very, very, very aggressive in terms of an attacking sense. And look, who knows? It's as close to a free hit at this stage of the season as we'll get. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've just kind of seen Parker say that, he wants to play on the front foot and have as much of the ball as possible, and that's the side that he's gone with the theory in terms of the starting 11. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not how it'll set up. Just putting that out there. Goodmanson would obviously be at left wing back and Justin will be at right centre back. Pascal at left centre back. But alas, yeah, it's the same team. A situation where we're going away from home without Gruev in the side will tell you that it's a front forward thinking team. Tanaka, Aronson, Okafor as midfielders are all attacking. You've got Ampadu that's going to be sat in front of the back three or dropping into that area because we do like to push Justin up, especially when he plays at right centre back, into a right winger kind of position. A bit like when Sheffield United used to play the wide centre back role under Wilder. It's a bit similar to that, how it plays. Justin and Bogle kind of overlapping down that side. So it's very, very attacking. And it gives us a chance to win the game. I'd like to see Perry keep his place over Darlow, if I'm honest, but it's the only kind of stickling point that I've got with it. I think it's given what we've got, given the injuries that we've got, Stack's out and Stack and who am I missing?
Who are you missing?
There's another first team.
I was just going to ask about that, Jay.
Rodon. Yeah, Rodon.
I was just going to ask about that, Jay. I mean, to me, you take out Calvert-Lewin there, and it looks like a Bakewell tart sort of formation. But
he's the cherry on top.
Yeah, exactly. With the goalkeeper, with Darlow. Darlow is the cherry.
Bakewell tart. I've heard of Christmas trees, but never Bakewell tart.
If you take Calvert-Lewin out of that formation, just imagine a Bakewell tart as Darlow with a cherry.
Looks
anyway,
like
obviously from the cup game, did you expect more injuries? Because I know you were worried about Okafor easing. It seems pretty strong, to be honest.
There's a few niggles and knocks, and I mean, you don't know how much of the player that is actually going out there. We have got a few injuries. Dan James is also out of the side completely. He's had an awful season with injuries, bless him. He's not been able to get started. Every time he comes back, he picks up something else. Rodon and Stack, I mean, Stack especially, are massive. They are two huge players. Out of the whole side, other than Ampadu, them two are probably the two that you would want to see out of the side least after them, especially Stack. Stack's our quality within that midfield. He's the real cog. He's the one that will get a big move should we go down. He'll be, within a top four within any of the divisions, I would have said. Maybe he's a bit part in certain squads, but he would stride into so many teams within the Premier League. He's absolutely class. He's our set piece taker as well. He can score a free kick. You know what I mean? So them kind of things matter. So it's a big loss going into a game like this. But yeah, and there is the positives that Gabby makes the team because he was a big doubt, as was Jacobiol, who's also been massive. And Noah Okafor is our creative spark. So if we're going to score, the likelihood is it'll come through him. So yeah, there's definitely reasons to be positive with what we're seeing from the side today.
The bench then, Perry, Longstaff, Pirro, Nemecha, Bonau, Byram, Nonto, Buonanotte, and Gruev. I mean, look, how do you guys see kind of the bottom of the table? Obviously, this is as it is before kickoff tonight, but inclusive of the games over the course of the weekend. And look, obviously, Spurs for the first time this season have dropped into the bottom three. They were piss poor away at Sunderland, to say the least. West Ham weren't necessarily great against Wolves, but got the job done on Friday. And Forest picked up a useful point, I guess, against Champions League chasing Villa. So I'll start with you, Gaz, to bring you in on this. Kind of, how do you see the bottom of the Prem? And, what's your take on things at the moment?
We talked about it a little bit in the group chat yesterday, didn't we? And I in danger of stating the bleeding obvious, I said that Spurs are now in massive trouble if they weren't already. But by that, I mean that any new manager bounce that they were hoping to get, they just didn't look like they were going. They just didn't look like they had it at all against Sunderland. They were as bad, maybe not quite as bad, but they were still pretty bad against Sunderland. They were. It wasn't a. I know the goal that Sunderland got was a little bit fortunate with the deflection, but other than that, I didn't think that Spurs really deserved anything. And looking at the fixtures that they've got coming up, I know we talked about that. I think they're in massive trouble. You just look at the form there. They're the team in the worst form out of them all.
They've not won a game this year, guys. They've not won a game in 2026.
Like, yeah, they've like 1 point in 8 games or something that they've taken. But the fact that they are now in the bottom 3, I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was Danny Murphy was talking about it over the weekend, saying that when you've been out of the bottom 3 for a while and then you slip back into it, it's the psychological, or you slip into it for the first time. It's a psychological blow. Like you're always. He said that you're always thinking when you're out of the bottom 3, well, as long as they don't do this or as long as they don't do this, we're all right. But now, once you're in the bottom 3, it's a big psychological blow. And for a team like Spurs and a lot of those players who won't have been in that situation before, yeah, I think that they are favourites to go down as it stands right now.
Downesy, your take? What do you think? And are you expecting anything different? Do you think that? I mean, look, I know in your ideal world, Leeds and Forest would occupy 18th and 19th, but it's not looking likely that that's going to happen.
No. That's a dream scenario. But we're to be more realistic, I think. Listen, the one thing that I really find interesting about Spurs being down there, and I think this has been right that a lot of people have pointed out. Look at all the other teams; they've got players in there that have come up against this scenario before, or they've accepted relegation. So Wolves, for example, they've accepted relegation. They can now play with a bit of freedom. I think Burnley's the same. Although you look at Wolves and I think they can be creatively more impressive than Burnley, and Burnley sort of dig out results here and there sometimes. Spurs have got no players in their team, but probably Jed Spence, who I absolutely do not like, that have experience of coming up against the relegation battle. And there's no mentality there. I mean, against Sunderland, I know Sunderland have done okay this season. They've done really well, haven't they? But, you would expect a Spurs side that are on the edge of relegation to go to Sunderland and try and show a bit of something. But as you said, Chris, there's just absolutely nothing about them. Forest showed against Villa, who have been really good this season, that they dug out and got a very, very vital point against Villa. West Ham pulling results out, Nuno's getting them sorted, and I don't think Leeds will go down anyway because I think they've got too much about them. I think they're too solid. All right, they might not be the most creative side in the world, but I think they're just really good, defensively and solid. And the only thing that I could point to, I don't know whether anybody else agrees with this, that was slightly better for Spurs at Sunderland was a bit more shape defensively, and that was it. Creativity, nothing. But there was a little bit more shape. They didn't look as shaky, let's say, at the back. They didn't look good, but they didn't look as bad as what they did under Tudor.
They've now lost Romero, haven't they, as well? Romero's out till the end of the season, could miss it. So that's captain. I know he's been in and out of the team anyway, but it's a big blow to lose him for the remainder of the season.
Do you think that he was crying because he knows he's going to miss the World Cup, or because he's genuinely upset that he's out for Spurs? Because I think he knows that if Spurs go down, he's off anyway.
They were talking about this earlier on TalkSport, to be fair, and kind of posed that question. And actually, it looks like there's a reasonable chance that he'll be back and fit for the World Cup anyway. It's just, I think it's about 8 weeks that he's going to miss, so he should be back for Argentina come the World Cup regardless. I mean, Jay, obviously, I guess one of the blessings for Leeds at the moment is that, whilst you haven't won in those last 6 games or so, the Spurs have been as poor as they are, and they're the side that aren't picking up results. How concerned are you, though, that, a bit of a spark from Spurs and everybody else keeps doing what they're doing, and Leeds maintain this run of picking up good draws but not turning them into wins? How concerned do you become that actually you are still more in trouble than certainly than it looked, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago?
I'm as concerned as I've always been with regards to this. Like when we had an 8-point gap, sure, it's nice to have that kind of security, but I were never kind of like lost on the idea that we were going to be in and around the battle come the end of the season. Like there were a point when Leeds fans were saying, "Oh, we'll finish on about 50 points," and I'm like, "No, we won't." Like we're not at that level yet.
No.
We're looking, if you look at the position above this, you've got Newcastle, and they're having an awful season.
Yeah, 42 points.
Yeah, they're nowhere near 50. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel exactly the same about it that I have done all season. I think the situation is that we've got some really winnable games coming up. We've still got Burnley to play at home. We've still got Wolves to play at home. We've got Brighton to play at home, which I know Brighton have got good form at the minute, but at Ellen Road, it's our last home game of the season. I'd fancy us to win that as well. And we've got Spurs away, and Spurs have won 2 away home games all season. You know what I mean? So it's in our hands, and the games are very much in our hands as well. And
When
we
you
have
play Spurs,
we play Spurs.
is that last day of the season?
No, we play West Ham.
You need that Spurs game almost as soon as possible, almost, really, in an ideal world.
I mean, I find it absolutely mind-boggling that this Spurs side have found themselves into this position that they have. I think, you know, they've got top quality players all over the pitch. They've got a serious confidence issue and mentality issue. You know, the people will say that arguably, the people would have argued 12 months ago, Romero and Van der Ven to be 2 of the best centre-backs in the division, right? Yeah. And then you look through their attacking options, and yeah, sure, they've got some injuries, but I still look at that side yesterday, and you've got Tell, you've got Richarlison, who's been there. I mean, Richarlison's had so many relegation battles. You've got Kolo Muani. You've got Xavi Simons sat on the bench. I mean, I've killed Xavi Simons in our side.
Yeah, but you've just said Richarlison's been in relegation battles. He's probably the only one bar Jed Spencer has, Jay. That's my point.
That's not my point. It's still the quality. I mean, I know that Richarlison's not great. He's not a top 4 player, but he's still way beyond what I would say us, Burnley and Wolves have got. And, you know, you're talking about Spurs potentially being in a group with them too. Because if they go down, that's who they're as good as. It's madness that they've found themselves in this position. But they are, and this can happen to good teams when a combination of things happen together. Bad management decisions, you know, the timing of management, sackings, poor recruitment, injuries together. And we have to remember that this team were the 4th worst team in the division last season. So something reeks through the whole side. You know, they've still not kind of come to terms with the change in stadium. I still think that's impacting them in a certain way.
Yeah.
And makes part of the process as well. So, I mean, I think Spurs will go. I think they will be the one to go. I think if I were them, I'd be looking at us and particularly West Ham as the ones that they could catch. But I said to Brownie in the preview show, the game yesterday, I feel kind of makes or breaks their season. I said that before, and I said if they go there and win, I feel like De Zerbi and the change, the momentum will swing. But you go there and lose, and the rot just instantly carries on. And I think that's where they're at. They play Brighton next, and that's
which is against his old team, of course.
Against his old team, yeah. So
I think you can have a massive say with. I think you can have a massive say with what happens. Because you've got West Ham, you've got Spurs, you said that you've got Wolves, which I know that they've already gone, but you can have a massive say. It's turning out to be a really good relegation battle, isn't it? Let's be fair.
All areas of the Premier League has never been, or not never, but has not been this good for years. Because the Premier League title's going to go to the wire, I think, now with the way that Arsenal are going. The top 4 battle is as well. And you've got a relegation battle that's going to be super interesting. I think, regardless of whether we're involved in it or not, it's going to go to the last game of the season for West Ham, and we will play a part in it. So
you feel that way, Jay. We'll let you go. If we're still on in 45 minutes time, come back to us at half time and let us know how it's going.
No worries, I will.
And if not, enjoy the game. We'll speak to you soon.
Prediction:
Shithouse 1-0 win. Because I'm bringing it into the ether. I'm trying to manifest it.
Yeah. Come on, United. Come on, United.
All right, see you in a bit, boys.
Cheers, Jay.
I genuinely do have this opinion, though, Chris, just to sign off from this bit before we move on. I'd like to hear what Gaz thinks, actually. You know, if Spurs went down, I don't think they're guaranteed to come back up because there's so many problems in that football club on so many different levels. I don't think they might have to spend money, but I don't think they're guaranteed to come back up. Oh, he didn't want to answer my question.
Where's he gone? Maybe his sound will be a bit better when he comes. Oh, he's back. He's back.
He's back. He's come back.
There he is.
That was peculiar. I don't know how I should do that. I was about to say, I'm not entirely sure where these problems lie with Spurs. Because, yes, they appear to certainly have problems, but I don't think it's necessarily easy to put your finger on exactly what the problem is. There'll obviously be players, a lot of players will go out, a lot of players will come in. The big question is, I think, initially, is what will happen with De Zerbi? Will he stick around? Will he walk away? Is he got a clause to walk away in the contract, for example? Wouldn't surprise me if he did, but also it wouldn't surprise me if he was the type of manager that actually would look at that opportunity to completely refresh not just the squad, but overhaul.
It was reported that he hasn't, by the way. It's been reported by numerous people, BBC, TalkSport, that he hasn't got a release clause.
It would be interesting to see. I think he kind of fancied that challenge of rebuilding, and actually, I think as well he's got the pull to bring players in from European leagues as well. Whereas, for example, I know we talked before De Zerbi was appointed, and saying that one or two of us had said that Kieran McKenna would be the ideal appointment for Spurs if they're in the Championship. I think he would have brought a lot of homegrown, or not homegrown, but a lot of UK-based players into that squad and use that as a building block. I think with De Zerbi, he's got the pulling power to still pull players in from European leagues.
I'm not being funny though. Are you going to pull somebody in from, let's take Germany as an example, and say, if they go down, and I'm only using Lincoln as an example, I'm not being disrespectful here, but can he, go to somebody from a German top flight who might be a really good player and go, come and play for Spurs, but you'll have to play at Lincoln on a Tuesday night?
Doesn't matter though, does it? Because that's not what he's selling. He's selling playing for Spurs and going back to the Premier League. The fact that you're playing Lincoln or Blackburn or Leicester or whoever on a weekly basis for a season is irrelevant.
They're not going to want to waste 12 months, are they, when they could go maybe to a Champions League side in Italy or another German side.
He's not going to be. That's the thing, though. He's not going to pull players in that would be going to Champions League sides. You'll be pulling players in that would be in top 8, top 10 sides in your France, your Germanys, your Italys, for example, that aren't necessarily European. Going to be European quality, but are certainly good enough to play in the Premier League at whatever level and get you out of the Championship now. And again, money talks at the end of the day, and that's the one thing that Spurs will have in the summer. What do you think, Gaz?
I think you made a good point at the start of that, where you said Downesy's saying there's all sorts of problems there, and he's probably right. But what are those problems? Nobody seems to know really what they are. They're well backed. They've got a squad full of players that shouldn't be down where they are. They've got a massive stadium, massive fan base. I don't really understand what's caused the drop-off there over the last couple of years. But as Jay said, they finished fourth bottom last year, so this isn't a new thing at Spurs. I think I was reading a thread on Twitter from a Spurs fan. I think it was last night, and he was basically saying that at the start of the season when Frank went in, he was quite optimistic because if you remember, they played in the European Super Cup against PSG and they pushed them all the way. And he was saying after that performance, Spurs fans were thinking, we could be all right here. So what on earth's gone on there to make that a false dawn? And I know they've had a lot of injuries, but you've also got the situation. I just want to point out that there's rumours going round, or the rumour is that a lot of those clauses in their contract whereby the wage will be reduced upon relegation because they just never envisaged that happening. So that kind of leaves the club in a situation where there will obviously be interest in those players if they do go down, but they're kind of over a barrel a little bit. I just don't know. I honestly think it's bigger than when Newcastle went down a few years, however long that was, 15 years, 15 years ago.
Biggest club ever to go down. Biggest club.
And they managed to come straight back, didn't they? But yeah, I honestly don't know. I think they will go. Like I said when I first asked.
Leeds have scored. Leeds are 1-0 up already at Old Trafford.
Oh, that's a real shame.
I think it's Okafor.
Just on your point, Gaz, you make a really good point, but about Newcastle. But the difference is Newcastle have also been in the Championship at some point in their history. Tottenham haven't been relegated to the second division since the 50s, 60s,
no,
maybe?
1970s, 70s. They went down in the 70s and they came straight back.
It's still 50 years, though. It's still 50 years plus, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a long old time now. And the modern fan base don't expect Tottenham Hotspur to be in the Championship. I just think it'll be tougher than what they're expecting. And it's all right going and spending money, but that's not really worked for Leicester, has it? Who spent over 250 million when they went down. And look at them; they're going to go down. They're going to go down to League One now.
They didn't spend 250 million when they went down. Jesus,
they spent over 200 million when they got relegated.
In the Prem, in the season they were in the Prem, they did. They didn't spend that in the Championship.
No, but if you remember, they went and signed people like Harry Winks on like 150, 160 grand a year. My point is, Chris, collectively, Leicester spent a boatload of money, probably the most money that's ever been spent in the Championship. Now they might be playing Huddersfield Town next season in League One.
But what I'm saying, hang on, but they didn't though. They spent that money in the Premier League to try and do what they could do in the Prem, and it didn't work. They didn't get relegated and then spend £200 million to try and get back up.
I get that.
Whereas Spurs will be able to go and spend. They'll be able to make 150, 200 mil probably in whatever they sell, which will be, to be fair at this stage, probably 95% of the squad that isn't homegrown through Spurs' academy, and then go and spend that plus that again to get themselves back up. And whilst it isn't a given, you would expect. I mean, this is where I think the manager thing is going to be interesting, because De Zerbi Championship level is going to be fascinating, frankly, if that happens. I appreciate we are digressing though, so we'll kind of wrap this up for now. Go on, Gaz. Final thoughts on this bit.
We are digressing a lot. I just wanted to say I listened to a bit of what De Zerbi said, and I can't remember if it was before or after the Sunderland game, but he said about how obviously he's renowned for implementing a certain style of play into his teams, but he was talking about, and we've kind of touched on it there. It's not all of he's not going to be able to do that in these last 7 or 8 games. It's all about the mentality. He was saying it's all about getting them right in the head, realizing where they are in the league, and getting them to play as such. So yes, next season, if he's still there, which I think he will be, because as Downesy said, that was the big debate about what took it so long to get the deal done was him saying he'd stay if they went down. I think you'll see that next year if they do go down, but you ain't going to see it in the last few games this year.
No, his wording post-match after the Sunderland game yesterday was that the players don't need a coach. They need a bigger brother or a father figure at the moment to help them with the kind of mentality side of things rather than the tactical side of things. Let's move on. Don't forget, you can get your comments in as well on anything West Yorkshire football or beyond from the way we started the show tonight. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Where you can do that is through YouTube comments, or you can always go through X or Facebook as well. We'll quickly run through the non-league side of things before we approach League One. Over the course of the weekend, Halifax, our highest ranked non-league side, they got a goalless draw away at Yeovil Town, which basically ends their playoff push. They are 5 points behind Southend. So Halifax City 8th, Southend occupying that final playoff spot in 7th, a 5-point gap. Southend have 2 games in hand as well. So it looks like Town will almost certainly just miss out on the playoff places into the Northern Premier League. And guys, they lost at home by 5-2 against high-flying FC United Manchester. FC United Manchester go for promotion into the National League North. By all accounts, though, actually, guys, he didn't play as badly as the scoreline reflected at all. It was just one of those afternoons where the chances that FC United Manchester got, they took, whilst guys spurned a few opportunities to add to their tally in that one. As for yes, still going strong. I'm taking back at Rochdale now, but we've got a 41-year-old Ian Henderson dragging Rochdale out the camp at the moment. So,
I just saw it there. I didn't know he was still playing.
We had Adam Lefondre.
He went to FC United Manchester. I think it was in the summer, just for basically to train and get some fitness. And enjoyed it that much that he stuck around and has been part of the squad all season. So, yeah, quite a name for MPL level, that is for sure. Into the MPL Easter results over the course of the weekend, with only a game or two left to go. As you can see, Gareth Town got a goalless draw away at Blythe Spartans. Brighouse were beaten at 3-0 at home against Concert. Emily, they were beaten 2-0 at home by North Ferriby. Bradford Park Avenue got a win on the road away at Grimsby Borough, as did Silston. They got a very good win against with away at Hallam on the pitch that's got a hell of a slow point, to say the least. Finally, the bottom, Redcar Athletic, they were victorious at Pontefract Collieries by 4-2, but again, some decent-looking attendances in the MPL East over the course of the weekend. As for the MPL East table, it looks like that obviously Redcar at the top, home and host as champions on 101 points. Emily, that defeat hasn't affected them too much. They will remain third, certainly for the time being, although they play Pontefract Collieries away on Friday night of this week. A point gap there, as you can see, between Pontefract Collieries and Bradford Park Avenue. Meanwhile, at the bottom end of the table, Ossett still in a bit of trouble, 2 points adrift of safety. BRB as they try and chase down Bishop Auckland. Silsden currently sitting in 17th, and the rest of our sides nicely in mid-table. A couple of bits from the Northern Counties East League over the course of the weekend. The final league game of the season that was played a week later than everything else. If it will come up, there we go. Liverpool League champions. They were actually beaten away at Knaresborough Town. Not that nobody will have minded too much, I'll say, with them being home and away the league winners. As for the playoffs, they took place. One side in our region was involved in the Beverley Town were victorious over Barton Town in front of just under 1,000. And then Sheffield and Tadcaster Albion met down at the oldest football club in the world, don't you know? A very late comeback for Tadcaster Albion. Miguel Casama with 12 minutes from time and in added time of that one. And it went to penalties, and Tadcaster won by 4-3. So Tadcaster will travel to Beverley Town in the playoff final of the NCEL Premier Division. Into the NCL Division 1. I probably should have tried to make the font a little bit bigger on that one, but for the sides in our region, let me just double check as we go through. Nostra Miners Welfare, they were beaten on the road 4-0 at Clubthorne Colliery. Ilkley Town were beaten 2-0 away at Leeds UFCA. Again, they continue to have that solid season. Route 1 Rovers were beaten by Wakefield by 4-1 up at Myra's Shea. South Leeds, they got a 4-1 win over Winterton Rangers. And Glasshoughton Welfare were beaten by 3-0 away at Wordsborough Bridge. The league table looks like that. And I'm trying to think if my math is right. I think the season is almost done apart from those on 41 games. Does that add up? 42 games from the 22-team league?
Yeah, that's right, Chris.
Thank you. I'm glad that your maths was a bit quicker than mine there, to be fair. As you can see, Durham District, as we said before, home and away at the top of the table. Wakefield will finish in second or third, depending on Wordsborough Bridge's game in hand. They've still got to play. Leeds UFCA have secured that place in the playoffs as well, finishing on 83 points, which is a remarkable season for them in their first season in the pyramid, full stop, to be fair, as well as in the Northern Counties League Division 1. I think that is that for the non-league stuff. Swiftly rattled through that, so we'll turn our attentions then to League 1. Who wants to go first then?
Let Gaz go first.
You go first this week.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It seems. I think it was me last week. You go first this week.
All right, mate. That's very generous of you. Yeah. You are. The glue that keeps us all together, mate. No, I think, listen, 3-3 draw, bit mad, really, in terms of the fixture. Obviously, 1-0 at half-time. Wickham took the lead through what was a pretty bad goal to concede, actually. Ballymumba got taken for pace by Nathan Lowe on the halfway line, and Bally kind of decided to give up, really, to be honest, which was a bit disappointing. Beaten sort of beaten by Nathan Lowe, but also by 2 other of his own teammates to try and get back to stop Nathan Lowe scoring. So 1-0 up at half time, and I don't think anybody expected it to be 3-3 ending. But it was an entertaining fixture. Michael Duff obviously coming back to us as the old gaffer. He did get sent off at the end of that game, which was pretty funny, because he tried to start on the town bench. But yeah, just disappointing in the end, heartbreak. Obviously, in the last 2 weeks, we've been on the right side of late goals, and this time we thought we got another one with Marcus Harness scoring in the 90 plus 6th minute there, to get to put us 3-2 ahead. But yeah, Nathan Lowe had different ideas and scored in the 90 plus 11th minute to draw the game. The main takeaway was that Town tried really hard. The players did get clapped off the field at the end. There was no sort of disheartening from the Town fans, because we knew that the lads had given their all, even if the quality in some of the Wycombe goals was, debatable with how they should have been defended, particularly the first and the second. However, and I know that many people in our chat disagree with this, but the referee was absolutely disgusting on the day. Like, he genuinely, I sat through one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen this season. Town should have had 3 penalties, stonewall for me, and then Boocker unfortunately was fat. Yeah. So in the first and in the first half there was 2. One was a handball. Literally, the Wycombe guy basketballed it in the area. I'm not joking. You're laughing, but it's true.
I'm only laughing at the irony of Huddersfield Town complaining about not getting a handball decision after the Joe Lowe handball in the Lincoln game a month ago.
Yeah, but I did say that on that podcast that you should have had a penalty. I did say that. Go back and rewatch it. I was fair. But yeah, the Wycombe guy, he literally basketballed it down. It was unbelievable how the referee and linesman didn't see that. Then Bojan Radulovic was going through trying to get on the end of a Gooch cross. He got pushed over in the area. Again, stonewall penalty. Don't really understand how that wasn't given when the linesman was looking right at it. And then in the second half, Cam Humphreys ran into the area, tricked his man, and as he jinked one way and went the other, the Wycombe player caught his leg, and Humphreys went down. And again, stonewall penalty. No idea how it wasn't given. And then to top it off, the third Wycombe goal in the end. I know you're going to disagree, but that's fine. For me, Boocker, whilst he should have got rid of the ball, it was naive, and John said it today in the press conference, said it himself. Also, he was fouled. I believe he was fouled. 12,000 other people in the ground thought he was fouled. The only person that seemingly didn't think he was fouled was a referee. So, yeah, it was an entertaining game to wrap up. And I feel it's one of them games that if we'd got 3 points out of, it would have been a really deserved 3 points. And I can't really have a go at the lads for the performance that they put in, really. Just them bits of quality, lack of concentration.
I think what's telling with the with this alleged foul on Balker in the build-up to the third is that even Huddersfield Town haven't included it in the highlights. And I think that says a lot. That
we get the highlights from the EFL.
No, they don't. They make them in house. They make them in house. All clubs do it.
We get them from the EFL. You're wrong on that. You're wrong.
I'm not. All clubs edit their own highlights packages together. They put out from the club.
Prove it.
I'm watching it right now.
Prove it right now.
Right now.
Prove it.
All it shows is Balker on his
prove it, guys. You can't prove
surrounded by nobody.
You can't prove it. So it's bollocks. Everybody watching, Chris talks rubbish. Honestly. Right. So
if it was that much of a foul on a talking point, they'd have included that. So that people would be like, look at this foul. Truth on the matter is, wasn't.
The handball wasn't included either.
Is basically not quite, but almost barring a good result tomorrow at least, potentially killed off the playoff hopes. A good win tomorrow, though, against Cardiff City, obviously puts you on 65 points and could be back in the mix for it.
Yeah, I think. Listen, we wanted to win that game on Saturday. That would have put us in a really good position, particularly with the fact that Stevenage won. We needed to win. Plymouth drawing earlier in the day to Exeter was good, but just because the fact that Stevenage beat Bradford obviously meant that we really needed to win. We got Cardiff tomorrow. It's going to be massively difficult. I believe, I could be wrong, if Cardiff beat us tomorrow, that means that they're promoted. But yeah, so they'll be coming all gun blazing to try and finish the job. I just hope we can get a result and try and somehow keep ourselves in it. But yeah, it's pretty done, to be honest, because we got Bolton then on Saturday before the last two fixtures of the season.
I fancy you for a point. I'm holding out a lot of blind optimism simply for the fact that you're right. Actually, if Cardiff were to win tomorrow, they would be up because they would be 13 points clear of Bolton with 4 games to go.
No, they're not
up.
up.
My hope
They're
comes
not
from the
up,
fact
You're
that
wrong.
you get
You're completely and utterly wrong. They're not up because Stockport can catch them.
They're not going to do either.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay,
mathematically,
mathematically they won't. You're right. I hadn't noticed that Stockport still seem to have 2 games in hand. They seem to have just had 2 games in hand forever, throughout the last 8 weeks, without actually getting anywhere. Okay, so Stockport could catch them, but let's be honest, they won't. Not really.
Yeah, they'd have to win every game, and Cardiff would have to lose the rest of their games.
Yeah, exactly. That isn't going to happen. But what can happen tomorrow is hopefully that if Town can get something, whether it's a win or a draw over Cardiff, it would be that Lincoln can be guaranteed champions as early as Saturday, I think.
So is this the only time this season that you're hoping Huddersfield actually win or draw? Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
He's honest.
At least he's honest. You got to give him that.
Because that'd be really, really handy. Because then, let me just double check my maths on this one. I'm sure I've worked this one out already. Cardiff would have played 42, and say they're on 82 points. That's 11. Yeah, if Lincoln win, depending on what Cardiff do on Saturday, if Cardiff would drop more points on Saturday, then Lincoln win the title in front of me at Stevenage away. So fingers crossed.
I was disappointed with City not getting anything at Stevenage, to be honest. I was really hoping you were going to do something, to be honest, and help us out a bit there. But it's just a bit soul destroying, particularly since Johnstead and Martin Drury's come in. They have, they're all right. The performances haven't been perfect, but we have seen a more attackive sort of go and get them mentality. The quality's not always been there, but we have seen a bit of a shift in things, and it's the hope that kills you, really. I kind of wish it. I mean, if we lose to Cardiff tomorrow, it's definitely done anyway. So, in a sense, I kind of wish that it was either we win tomorrow and we've got a decent chance of getting back into things, or we lose and we just accept that it's over. I don't want to draw.
5 games ago, you were saying that you weren't going to win another game all season, with the exception of maybe Leighton Orient, which obviously you went and did.
So I was right.
So you're in a slightly better position, though, than you probably expected to be in, actually.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of fight, aren't you? I said it to you last week. Those late goals show that they're fighting, aren't they? And you've got to be happy about that, mate. I mean, I said, was it the first two games you got them late goals, and you got another late goal. It just so happened that that bloody Wickham, they got a bloody later one,
even later one, yeah.
Yeah. They are, Gaz, and that's something at least. I think I just wish we'd have shown. I said we did town talk last night, and I said, it's not these results against Wickham. It's not these performances that I have a problem with. I can take him having a go, and unfortunately, just not getting there at the last minute. I can accept that, but they had a real go on Saturday. They really did try. the performances that I can not accept is Burton away, is Northampton away, is Wigan at home, is Wigan away. You know, you look back on those performances, and that's where the season has been lost for me. That's where they didn't give their all, or it just didn't work, and that's where the bad feeling comes from. But the good feeling comes from definitely results like on Saturday.
Speaking of Wigan, Joe Taylor scored again at the weekend.
Shut up! I honestly, it goes down as I know. It goes down as one of the worst decisions I think. Well, definitely Towns made in probably 15 years, maybe 20 years.
I've got 2 questions on that.
Yeah, go on, guys.
First one is there any chance of him coming back next season, or is he just going to be sold? And the second one is, who on earth signed that decision off the day before you changed manager?
I reckon Lee Grant.
So the first question is, there's 2 points to this. One's with my head and one's with my heart. So the first point is with my head. I think he'll come back, and I think we'll sell him because it's what Town do. But I don't think we'll sell him for a price like I think we'll want to get our money as much back as possible. We're not going to get it all back, but I think
just interject before we go on for a second though. Why would you sell him?
Because he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be at Huddersfield Town.
He doesn't want to be at Huddersfield Town because he fell out with Lee Grant. Surely to Christ, like obviously a hell of a lot has changed since Joe Taylor left to go to Wigan. And Liam Manning hypothetically comes back from his compassionate leave. Surely to Christ, Liam Manning is going to want to keep hold of him desperately, and will make that pretty clear to Joe Taylor.
I would like to hope so, because listen, he's only 24. He's coming into the prime years of his career. You know, I want to keep him when he's in his prime years. I don't want to sign him in 10 years when he's 34. I want to see him play for Huddersfield Town in a system that suits him, where we can get the best out of him, just like Wigan have, and play to his strengths. Because I think he'll score goals in this division. He's proved it at Wigan. He's scored 10 in 13 or whatever. It's mad.
He's up to 8th in the League One top goal scorer shouts now, 14.
The stats are just are crazy since he's gone there, right? So, but it's just a Town thing. He'll come back and we'll sell him, and then we'll sign him in 10 years when he comes back, and he won't be half as good. It's just what Town do. So the head thing is, I think he'll go, right? I hope Manning comes in if he comes back and he tries to keep him. But I'm pretty sure his agent, Joe Taylor's agent, will be looking at his form right now and going, well, I'll speak to Oxford and I'll speak to Portsmouth and I'll speak to so-and-so in the Championship, Blackburn, or, you know, club that might be staying up, and they might look at him. They might look at him, right? So then the heart one says, as I've just said, Gaz, you know, the heart part of me is I want him to stay. I want him to come back, and I want us to get the best out of him. So it's kind of two-pronged, mate, unfortunately. I know that wasn't a quick answer. Your second point was... What was your second point?
Who signed the loan off the day before Grant left?
Absolutely not a clue. And we didn't put that, unfortunately, to Kevin Nagel in our interview. However, I don't know whether he'd know himself, to be honest. It must be somebody on the football side of things. Obviously, I think
they want stringing up, don't they?
I hope it's not. I hope it's not Markham, but. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever find out the answer with that, but it is one of the worst decisions in 20 years.
They want stringing up, but it might kind of lead in. I suppose the questions are linked, because whoever's made that decision has obviously done it knowing that Grant's going. So you would imagine that the steer for that decision has probably come from the player, which then leads you on to think what is going to happen next. It is a hint at what might happen in the summer. But the fact that he's banging goals in for Wigan, Downesy, means that you're very, very, very likely to get your money back at least.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Taylor, I think Chris Markham did say in an interview actually that, you know, they had a meeting and come to some agreement that this would be the best thing. It's just really annoying that it was the day before we signed a new manager who didn't even get a chance to have a look at him.
Yeah.
So that's the annoying thing. I think the worrying thing for me, guys, is we signed Alfie May for 1.2 million. It sounds like Alfie May wants out, right? He wants to go. Joe Taylor sounds like he wants to go. So, and then we're going to be left with Dion Charles, who I've not been impressed with. And obviously, Bojan's scored a few goals this season, so he's done all right. He probably deserves to continue at the club. But from having Alfie May coming in and Joe Taylor coming in and a Dion Charles that was scoring goals for a decent amount of time at Bolton, and now one's crap, one's all right, but never been massively consistent, and two players that are probably stars in this division that want to leave. It's not great, is it?
No, it's not.
I'd rather keep Joe Taylor. I'd rather keep Joe Taylor than Alfie May, by the way.
And it'll all depend on what happens. There's going to be conversations, obviously, in the summer, and it's where they decide the best way to move forward for all parties is. It might be that they decide that they can stay. You don't know, mate. You just got to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah,
will be interesting, and obviously a lot will depend on what happens with Liam Manning and whether he returns to the job kind of full time as well, or whether it's a new man that comes in to take the helm. We'll time on that one. Just setting up down the Monday Night Football. Okafor's done it again. It's now Leeds 2, Manchester United 0 at Old Trafford. 31 minutes played, but he scored in the 29th minute. They were 2-0 up inside half an hour at Old Trafford, and I'm pretty sure Jay and Brown it will be absolutely buzzing off the tits, to be quite honest with you.
If Leeds win that, they say, I think they're safe if they win.
It's one of those, it's still just a little bit too close to call, but this would move them 6 points away. So you would think, wouldn't you, with the games that are left, that they should be. But still just, probably with added time and all that, still over an hour to play at Old Trafford. Looking ahead then, very briefly, Downesy, obviously we touched on about it's Cardiff at home tomorrow night. That's followed up by that trip to Bolton for a 12:30 kick on Saturday. So as you alluded to earlier, 2 difficult games ahead.
Yeah, 2 difficult games. Cardiff, I can't remember my prediction last night. I think I said 1-0 to Town. Just with a good feeling.
For you, mate.
Yeah, just going in from a good feeling of Saturday. I hope we can keep that good energy going. I think Bolton will have a bit too much for us, so I think I went for a 2-1 defeat at Bolton. And then that'll be our season sort of wrapped up and finished, really. So, it's just looking forward to watching, the playoffs and see what happens in them. And go again next season. Have a break. Well, we don't have a break, do we? Because we've got England to worry about. But yeah, we've got that to worry about, and then we start again for the regular season. I kind of was hoping that there wasn't a World Cup, to be honest, so I could have a break from how crap Town have been all season. But there we
are. One man who won't be looking at the season wrapping up anytime soon, Gaz. Obviously, a disappointment on Saturday. And look at the league table. It was Stevenage with a 1-0 win at Valley Parade over the course of the weekend on Saturday afternoon. Talk us through it, guys, because I listened to probably the first half an hour or so, I think, on BBC Radio Leeds. I was travelling over to Rochdale, and actually, it didn't sound like you started too badly in that game. It seemed like a bit of a scrappy first half, but overall, a half that you could have built on, in the second, but obviously that didn't come through.
I just want to say what I've been saying for a while. We are not guaranteed the playoffs yet. I really don't think we are. I know I'm normally erring on the side of negative, but I really don't think we are looking at our fixtures, and I think Saturday proved that. It's interesting that what you said there, Chris, about your reflections on the first half, having listened to it on the radio. I'll tell you a stat that will give you a hint about how that first half went. There were 9 minutes of time added on at the end of the first half.
There was.
Yes, there were injuries. But that was largely due to how Stevenage approached the game. Now, we knew they were going to approach the game like that, and it's delay. It's kill time at every opportunity. There were a couple of lads who sit behind me. I don't talk to them, but I was chuckling away on Saturday because they were actually timing how long the goalkeeper was taking to take each goal kick, and it was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And the referee never got a grip on it from start to finish. I don't think there was anyone booked for time wasting, which was baffling, really. Having said that, I don't think that City did enough to win that game, especially before Stevenage scored. Now, when Stevenage scored, which was against the run of play, and it was with their only shot on target, we made the changes and we went very, very attacking. We had 3 or 4 what you'd call decent chances to equalise, and the lad in the Stevenage goal, I think he's ex-Villa. He might even be on loan from Villa. Philip Marshall.
Yeah, Philip Marshall. Yeah, good keeper.
He made 2 outstanding saves. I mean, the one from Sarcevic in time added on, it's just a fantastic save.
Yeah, than that.
Prior to that, like I said, prior to going 1-0 down, I don't think we did enough. But yeah, the goal, we've got to do better with the goal. It's a long throw into the box. It's Stevenage, like I say, it's their only shot on target. Sarcevic misses the header to clear it. And then it falls to Dan Kemp, who's obviously probably their most dangerous player, and he's time to pick his spot, and he scores. And then obviously the delay, the sort of anti-football stuff from Stevenage just gets even worse, and they see the game out. Like I said, largely due to two brilliant saves from the Stevenage keeper. But that just shows that, like I said, I don't think we are safe in the playoffs yet. I think there is still a job to be done. I think we need at least one more win, maybe a draw as well. And the games that we've got left are tough. We've got Barnsley away on Saturday, Yorkshire Derby. We know we've talked about our away form a lot on here. We got the win at Wickham in the last away game, but since the new year, our away form, barring that win and the Port Vale win, hasn't been great. And then the 2 home games that we've got coming up after that are massive. We've got Plymouth at home on the Tuesday night, and we've got Bolton at home in the last home game a week on Saturday. They're absolutely huge. And like I said, I think we need 3, possibly 4 points to make sure that we do finish in that top 6. And we don't rue what's that? What the sort of second half of the season, which hasn't been quite as good as the first, although obviously we have still haven't had an outstanding season as a newly promoted side. But it would be a shame if we don't finish in that top 6, and I think we need 3, possibly 4 points to make sure that we do.
I think you'll be fine. Personally, I think you'll be fine, Gus. I don't think that Plymouth are going to get to 71 points, mate. So I think you'll be fine.
I think if we beat Plymouth on Tuesday, which is obviously a massive game, I think you probably, even I would say that we're just about there. But we've got to win. Like I said, I think we need 1 win, possibly a draw as well. I mean, the defeat on Saturday against Stevenage is only our 3rd home loss of the season. Home form has been, on the whole, what's kept us up there. The other defeats were against Burton when we were really poor, and against Cardiff, where for 15, 20 minutes they tore us apart. But like I said, Saturday, given everything, the way Stevenage approached the game and the way the ref never got a grip on the time wasted and stuff, and given the chances that we had at the end of that game, having thrown the subs on, we were unlucky, really. I don't think we deserved to lose. We should have at least had a point on that, judging by the way the game went. It's just a shame that we didn't create enough until we went a goal down.
Yeah, you touch on the fact there that it's Barnsley away for Bradford on Saturday. Obviously, you can see them there sitting 12th. Even with getting in hand far too far off the playoffs for Barnsley, despite looking like they could have done at one point earlier in the season. It is one of those Yorkshire Derby away at Oakwell. You'd hope we can get something out of it. Obviously, that away form is understandably a worry, and always has been for City fans, certainly in the second half of the season. But if you can go there and get a point, obviously follow that up with a positive result against Plymouth, then you should be in a good spot.
Yeah, you would think so. Like I said, you look at the fixtures that we've got left, and Barnsley, Plymouth, Bolton, Exeter. You would say that you would like to think you need to take something at Barnsley, really. And I know it's a Yorkshire derby, and They had a good win on Saturday, to be fair. I know it was only Rotherham, but they had a 3-1 away win at Rotherham on Saturday, which is a good result for them. Look, regardless of what happens in these last 4 games, we've had an amazing season as a newly promoted side. We just want to make sure that we do finish in that top 6 and it doesn't, it's not a wasted season, because when you're in this position, you want to make the most of it while you're there. Yeah, I do think we probably need to go and bounce back just to avoid back-to-back defeats, because if you suddenly go to back-to-back defeats, then you've got 3 games to play. You still think you need to take 4 points. The pressure ramps up a little bit. So let's bounce back as quickly as we can. Let's take something at Barnsley and then hopefully cement it with a home win against Plymouth next Tuesday. But as a newly promoted side, as we've seen all season, these games are tough in League One. There's no easy games, and we just have to try and get the job done.
I just want to ask you again what the mood was like around Valley Parade, just because of the comment coming from Gasnick matchday experiences. The last few games watching City, I've had fans around me booing at half-time. Truly don't understand how fans can boo a team third in the league. This season's been amazing and beyond our expectations. How has it been around where you've been sitting at VP?
Yeah, he's spot on. I mean, what are you? If those boos are aimed at the team, I mean, what are you doing? You need to have a look at yourself, don't you? We do have a group that sit just about 2 or 3 rows behind us, and we're puzzled at some of the stuff that comes out. Sometimes it's just abuse at the players and stuff, and it's just like, just remember where you've come from. I totally agree with Gaz there. He's bang on. I was a bit unsure on Saturday whether the boos were aimed at the team or more aimed at the referee and the way that Stevenage had approached the game. I wasn't sure where we were, what they were aimed at, but he's right. I mean, if you're aiming boos at a team that have just come up and are sitting third in the league, and imagine even the pessimistic me says we're one of the favourites to finish in the top 6. What, you just got to take a look at yourself. It's ridiculous, but I would hope they were aimed at the referee rather than the City players on Saturday. Yeah,
it's. I mean, it's one of those, fingers crossed you can get the points on the board and keep yourselves in the playoffs, because it has been just a ridiculous season, to be fair. And Alexander will be up there in with a shout of along with probably Skabala, and to be fair, I probably think Alex Revel as well at Stevenage for manager of the season come the end of it.
Yeah, he's been nominated, hasn't he? That came out before the weekend. Alexander's been nominated for Manager of the Year, and rightly so. I mean, fantastic job that he's done. First year back in League One. You just, like you say, you just want to get the job done. I mean, there was hope with how we responded, having gone a goal down. The lads didn't give in, and when we brought on players like Caden Jackson and Nick Powell, we looked like, and Paul Mullin came on and played a role in creating a couple of the chances as well. We have got players that can come on and hopefully, touch wood, see us over the line into them playoff positions. It's just, you just want to get it done as soon as you can, don't you, really? And you don't want to go into if you do finish in the playoffs, you don't want to go into it in bad form either. You want to go into it on a bit of a positive note, because it tends to be the teams that go into it on a positive note that do well. The lads didn't give in, and barring 2, like I say, really, really good saves from the Stevenage keeper, we take a point from that game. We deserved a point, Chris. We didn't deserve to lose the game, put it that way, despite the fact that it was a dire watch and we didn't really do much before going a goal down, and given the referee and the tactics of Stevenage, we did not deserve to lose. You look at on the chances created just after we've gone 1-0 down, we deserve to take something from the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're the nominations for Manager of the Season. Obviously, Grant Alexander, Michael Skabala at Lincoln, Brian Barry Murphy at Cardiff, and Alex Revel at Stevenage. I don't want to just be biased here, but I'm looking at that thinking, well, Brian Barry Murphy sure is the one man that doesn't deserve to come with that at the end of the season, especially if Cardiff were to finish second. Well,
I was going to say, you look at the other 3, and they all thoroughly deserve to be nominated, don't they? Skabala, Alexander, and Revel. You've got to say that 100% they deserve to be in that conversation. Like you said, Brian Barry Murphy probably in it because the second, and he's played a lot of I know they've had a lot of youngsters playing. But when you compare what he's had to work with compared to what the other 3 have had to work with, see you nodding there, Chris. I think that's what you're getting at, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, they're a big club at Cardiff. You don't have Callum Robinson at League One level if you without paying him a hefty chunk a week. I mean, Downesy, where would your backing go or your money go if you're a betting man on League One Manager of the season?
Well, I think there's only one winner, and it's Scoops, to be honest, at Lincoln. As well as what Alexander has done.
I'll take that from Downesy.
And I agree. You know, for me, Scoobs and Alexander are the two that should be in the running, and not really anybody else. I know Alex Ravel's done well at Stevenage. Don't get me wrong, but they still might not get in the playoffs. But yeah, for me, there's only two real options, to be honest.
To be fair, I think I can fully see, to be fair, why Revel's there, because I think he's done a super.
No, he's done great. He's done brilliant.
They have easily the smallest club, probably in the top 6.
Well, I had him to get relegated.
Yeah. Well, no, you fancied him for relegation. I thought they'd do all right, but certainly not as well as they have done. Gaz?
I'd be interested to ask you two lads, actually. What was Stevenage like when they played against Lincoln and Town? Because on Saturday, it was just, like I say, it was just a horrible watch. It was just a really, really sort of anti-football performance. But I get the impression that they've not been like that all season. They perhaps looked at our home record and came with a plan, and obviously the plan's paid off for them, and fair play to them. But what were they like in the 2 games against your teams?
I'll let you go first on this one, Dan, because I'm trying to remember exactly what we did against them at home. We are away at Stevenage on Saturday. I've got a ticket for it.
Right, yes, you did say, actually. Yeah.
We beat them at home 1-0.
They beat you 1?
And they beat us 1-0, I believe, at their place. The home game was, I think we sort of battered them, really, in a sense. I think we, from memory, again, it was right at start season, but I think from memory we did all right, to be honest. We played all right against them. The away the away fixture. They're a very physical outfit.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't, that they've got a lot of big lads in there that they pump the ball up top. So the game away at Stevenage wasn't really even a football match, because the majority of the game was spent with the ball in the air, to be honest, and they disrupted any sort of style that we wanted to have on the fixture. So I think a lot of teams are like this in this league, guys, actually, about the dark arts of football. You talked about the keeper at your game on Saturday. I mean, the Wickham keeper, he took 23 seconds to take a goal kick, mate.
Yeah.
On Saturday. It's just
Stevenage lad, mate. Yeah.
it's just boring. It's just like, get on with it. Like, why are you taking 23 seconds? You know where you're going to kick it. Everybody in the ground knows where you're going to take it. Don't
you think, though, the referees have to get a grip of stuff like that? It's not hard, is it? It's not hard when they're doing it. It's just yellow card straight away. First, maybe a warning the first time. Second time, it's yellow card. Well, the quicker you deal with it, the quicker you stamp it out. It's not a hard thing to deal with, is it?
No, I mean, the only good thing that the ref did on Saturday, in my opinion, was he did book the goalkeeper early in the first 20 minutes.
Right.
I think it was the first 20 minutes.
He just let it go.
But he carried on doing it, guys. So why haven't they got the bottle to go, right, I'll give you a yellow, and you've carried on doing it, so I'll just show you a red card. Don't matter to me. I've got paid to do this game today. I don't understand for the refs why they just, because everybody in the ground, by the Wickham fans, obviously wouldn't have wanted the keeper sent off, but the opposition, over town fans, were like, why is he just not giving him another yellow? Just send him off. I tell you what, the more keepers that would get sent off, you get teams not doing it anymore. You would.
And I think I think you're right. I think it only takes once, wouldn't it? And so, like, because a lot of the time, I think they do think. I mean, ours was slightly different because he just never dealt with it. He never booked him at all. Whereas I've been in similar situations to the one you're describing there at City, where they get a yellow, and then it's as though the referee thinks, "Well, I can't give him another one." No, you can. He carries on doing the same thing. Do it again, and he'll soon stop.
Well, the reason it'd stop, Gad, is it's different to say like a midfielder getting sent off, because you can change your tactics and your formation with an outfield player getting sent off. You can't do that with a goalkeeper, because you've got to instantly bring your sub goalkeeper on So you've got to sub an outfield player off, and then you might risk that subkeeper getting injured or whatever. I think it's about time that referees start having the bottle to send players off. I mean, interestingly enough, I've got one, not to swear, but I've got one of the biggest shithouse goalkeepers playing for my team actually, in Lee Nichols. I mean, the amount of yellow card, Lee's a brilliant guy, you can tell. And I mean shithouse in the nicest way. I mean, I'm only putting it in this context, but he must be one of the most booked keepers currently playing professional football in the EFL.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the lads were saying it about the kind of the flip side of the argument is, well, we all do it. Do you know what I mean? If Sam Walker were doing it, we'd be clapping him for doing it. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Downesy. Yeah, he needs dealing with.
Just to answer your question, before we move on straight, just to answer your question, Lincoln beat Stevenage by a goal to 0 at home. Just look at the stats from it. I think it was 18 shots, 4 on target. Stevenage's 4 and none on target. And yeah, it just seems to be one of those days. I remember actually, because I think it was an early kickoff and I was keeping track of it from Rochdale. And the daft thing is, the opening kind of line on the report is Rob Street scored his first league goal for Lincoln as they toppled League One leaders Stevenage at the NEL Stadium. That was back. Yeah, that was Saturday, the 18th of October. We've barely lost the game since. We're 25 games unbeaten now, Lincoln. 20 wins and 5 draws in the last 85 is nuts. A man who is rather delighted, to say the least, with how things have gone out first half, Jay, sorry. 2-0 up away at Old Trafford.
Mate, we were unreal. I don't know if any Leeds fans are going to jump in here during half time, but that was our best performance over a half in the whole season by a mile. And the only disappointment I have is that it's not 4 or 5. Wait until you see some of the chances that we've had. Tanaka basically just rounded Lemons before the end of the half, and Martinez came sliding in to stop 3 from the direct corner that we had. Pascal had a free header that went straight at Lemons again, and we've had other chances. Calvert-Lewin's we should have been 1-0 up with inside 2 minutes. We've been unbelievable, unplayable going forward. We've had them all over the place. Going the other way, they've had a couple of moments, but we've defended extremely well. Darlow's had very little to do. He's had no saves of note to make.
He's Gary on commentary.
He is poor Gary. Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, Gary's been very very complimentary, and he's in agreement that they're lucky that it's not more, which is unreal when you think that we're playing away at Old Trafford.
You're safe now. So
No. We've not won this game yet. We are
we've said that. Well, I think if you win this game, you're safe.
If we win this game, I will say that we're safe, because we're 6 points clear with 6 games to go. Burnley and Wolves still to come at home. I mean,
Saturday, clip that, Chris. Clip that. Last day, Leeds lose to West Ham, go down. Clip it.
I mean, we'd have to struggle, because I don't think it's going to be much more than 36 anyway.
No,
I think it's going to be around 37, 38. But anyway, I mean, that's for another conversation. Like, we can still lose this game. We 100% can still lose this game. I mean expected goals, guys. Expected goals in this game, 2.03. What team does that at Old Trafford?
She look his shirt, man.
I was just going to run through kind of the halftime stats. I've just paused on the telly at the moment, because, to be fair, Jay, whenever I kind of was looking up over the course of the that first half and keeping an eye on it, it seemed to be pretty much all one-way traffic near enough. 6 shots to 10 in favour of Leeds, 2 on target for Man United, 5 for Leeds. Obviously, expected goals 0.19 to Man United, 2.03 to Leeds. Touches in the opposition box, 10 for Man United, and 22 for Leeds. Passing the final third, 66 for Man United, 50 for Leeds. Possession is in Man United's favour, but yeah, it looks to have been a very, very good half, unless you say it's one of the best of the season.
We've absolutely ripped them apart, and that sounds like it's dramatic. It's genuinely not. I mean, we've picked the ball up on the edge of their box 2 or 3 times just through really good pressing, triggering the press at the right time.
6-yard box I'd seen. But,
Again.
I think it was one that I noticed that I kind of glanced up and was like, bloody hell, pressing on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah. We've been excellent, mate. And it just begs the question, and I've been putting it in the group to Brownie, how this team really is only 3 points clear of relegation. I mean, I've got my issues with the team in terms of its quality, but I think in terms of the structure, the tactics, the way that we've gone about it this season, we're good for another 7-8 points. I mean, most of you boys have watched a lot of our games this season, and I think most of you kind of agree with that as well. We should already be safe, really. But the fact that we're able to turn up to Old Trafford with 7 games to go, still with relegation over a shoulder, and perform like that is unreal.
Absolutely. I mean, just if you're Daniel Parker, that goes out same again for the second half, please, lads.
It's so imperative that we don't concede in the first 10 minutes. This opening 10 minutes of this second half, if we can just stifle the place down, keep them at bay, we can go on to win this game. But we're a long way from winning this yet. We know what this team's like, especially late on in the game. I mean, it were only the weekend that we were 2-0 up in the 91st minute and we ended up drawing 2-2. So this team's capable because of the lack of quality. Concentration late in the games is massive. So, but honestly, I hope we can get this over the line, honestly.
Yeah, anyway,
I've been so giddy all day. I've been so nervous. I'm sat here shaking watching the game. I can feel, like when you have them like nervous, excited tremors. There's certain games that do them, and this is one of them.
How many times have you seen Leeds win at Old Trafford? Is it just that Jermaine Beckford one?
Just the Beckford FA Cup game, yeah. And bear in mind, we were League One team at the time. There's only so much bragging you can do with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got him in, and that Manchester United team was unbelievable. But it's still not the same as winning this, in my opinion. Since we've come back from relegation at Old Trafford, we've had very little to shout about because we've tended to score goals quite early and take leads and then get smashed. We lost 5-1 here on the opening weekend or the second weekend of one of the Bielsa seasons. Under Skubala, we actually drew 2-2 against Manchester United. We went into a 2-0 lead that day, and they came out in the second half and came back from 2-0 down. So, long way to go yet.
That was the power of
this shirt is your version of Don Revy's Lucky Blue suit, isn't it?
I'm telling you, this shirt is legendary.
I might burn it when I come to your house next time.
No, I only bring it out for certain games.
Might seek it out and burn it so you can never wear it again.
This is still a bit harsh. Bloody hell, Downesy.
That Tanaka chance is. Have you seen the Tanaka chance yet?
Mate, we've been doing a podcast. We've been a bit busy.
No, but I know Chris has got that in the background.
I didn't notice it. It might have been when I was fiddling with graphics. But
Jay, Gaz has been depressed about City. I'm talking about them losing out on League One playoffs. Go and be happy somewhere else, mate.
City are going to win the playoffs. City are going to win the playoffs, and they're going to knock Stevenage out in the semis, and then they're going to beat Stockport in the final.
Right, now say something nice about Town.
They're going to be in League One next season.
Right, thanks, mate. Cheers. end the podcast, Chris.
To be fair there, Downesy, he hasn't got many options of things he can say about Town, has he? Let's be fair. He
could have said Town are going to get in there, but he.
No, you're going to finish 8th.
Great, thanks. End the podcast, Chris.
You're going to finish top 10. How about that? That's positive.
Just end it, Chris. Honestly, get rid of the ball, man. Get rid of him.
To be fair, we'll round it up now anyway, Jay. So we'll round it up anyway. Big thank you to everyone that's joined us over the course of the show. Big thank you to Stephen Downes, to Gareth Walker, and to a slightly delirious Jayson Boocker. A reminder as well, Jay, you and Brownie will be on straight after full time, pretty much.
Straight after full time, yeah.
There we go. So join Jay and Brownie for a post-match review of whatever happens in the second half at Old Trafford, half-time, Man United 0, Leeds 2. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for next week's Monday Night Show. Take care.